I had a lot of thoughts about the data center that they are trying to implement into our state. So much so that over the past half an hour or so, I have written about maybe almost 2 pages of something that I want to say. And this is going to be a little long, so stick with me if you can. Um, it's come to my attention lately that some people who proclaim to be environmentalists or have some kind of education in environmental studies, they don't know actually what the fuck they're doing. At the same time, they do, because from what I personally find, and this is my opinion, is that some people out there have enough money to do whatever the fuck they want, and they have no concern about the world continuing to burn around them. Kevin O'Leary had the audacity to get on Instagram recently and talking about people being bussed into our state as paid protesters to suppress his plans to build this data center here in Utah, a 40,000 acre data center, I might add. I've lived in Logan, Tremont, and Salt Lake areas my entire life, so I want to make it entirely clear if Kevin O'Leary is listening to this. This is fucking personal. We've been watching our Salt Lake dry up to severe levels over the last fucking 10 years. More dust seems to roll around the valley, and there seems to be a lot more pollution than there used to fucking be. 4 billion gallons of water, that's what Kevin O'Leary's hyperscale data center in Box Elder County in northern Utah is asking for. Kevin O'Leary doesn't think Utahns are dumb. They just think they have the time to suddenly gather a bunch of paid protesters to come into Box Elder County Commissioner meetings. On a fucking whim, I might add. That's a pretty fucking short period of fucking time. If you're still listening, Mr. O'Leary, that's pretty fucking insulting. Just to assume for 1 minute that 90% of the people in that fucking meeting were not actual citizens of Utah or Box Elder County, and who gives a shit if they weren't citizens of Box Elder County? We have fucking families who live here. It's a slander to us Utahns, really. A lot of us fucking care about our state. When the Salt Lake dries up, I just pretty much assume I lose my home because this probably become an uninhabitable place. I worry what happens to my family. And yet you just can't do a fucking impact study while this planet continues to go wretchedly hot. And any Utahn could tell you we were quite off-put by the temperatures we experienced here in March. Multiple 80-degree days. That is not normal here. We know we're continuing to break records. And I don't really give a shit at this point that you're getting a huge tax break. I mean, that's one way of swindling this population. But the real way and the ultimate way to swindle this population, it would make it to a point where money doesn't even fucking matter anymore. Having operations like yours in this state, on the scale you are planning, it stands to put the state's prosperity, its future, and its well-being in jeopardy. Over the last week, the response I've seen on social media has been absolutely surprising. There are people I don't normally see post very often who might just be a little less enthusiastic than I am about expressing their opinions online, but yet when it comes to this data center, I'm seeing a lot of those people talk. And I just want to share concern. This is all possible thanks to the shitty fucking president that we have, I would say, in part. That's okay if some of you do not agree with that, but I think what we can all agree on is our governor, MIDA, also known as MIDA, and the commissioners and Box Elder approved of this with such astonishing speed and bypassed the opinions of the people as a result. With, how this country operates today, it's impossible for us citizens to get our foot in the door now. I think I can describe this well with just one word, and that's oligarchy. But I won't really get into that right now. I think it's important that the entirety of Utahns, Republicans, Democrats, Independent, third-party petitions for an impact study on this data center by ballot measure or whatever, and if they cannot prove an impact study, one that is peer-reviewed by scientists who are sold out to no one, then this data center should not be allowed here. It should not be here, period, if that's how it's going to be. I'm not seeking congressmen or women at this point because I know nothing will get done in this state. Governor Spencer Cox says we should disagree better, but won't bother to listen to our disagreements or opposition on this. claiming he's just tired of delaying innovation, and if operations like this data center ruin our environment and our biome in Utah, people like Spencer Cox and Kevin O'Leary will be well off. What about the rest of us? It's come to my attention as well lately that some lives have also been threatened. The people who have approved this, from MIDA to the commissioners, it's personally made my stomach turn, but in a very subverted way. It made me think it has really come to this. We've really arrived at a point where people are advocating for violence, something I can't do, but at the same time, I can't help but think, if only you would have fucking listened to your citizens, we would not have fucking arrived at this point. To the data center, they say it will have its own power facility on site generating electricity. A closed-loop water system is indicated at this hyperscale facility that can save water usage by at least 70%. 4 billion gallons is needed for this data center. It's unclear how much they will use each day. The Great Salt Lake has 5 trillion gallons. It evaporates 2.4 billion gallons of water a day. They've also talked that they're going to grab the electricity from a natural gas pipeline called the Ruby Pipeline. This pipeline runs through Box Elder County, Cache County, where I was born and raised, and Rich County, which is where I spent many summers at Bear Lake, which as of now is also significantly decreasing in capacity, just similar to the Great Salt Lake. We're all getting a little lower here, and that's why we need motherfucking impact studies. This could affect everyone in the state as far as I'm concerned, at least from the mid part of the state up north. Utahns really care about our state. Impulsive decisions normally don't end well, and this is incredibly motherfucking impulsive to me. Just to close, I also find it funny that Mr. O'Leary balks at how we're using AI to respond to his AI data center. I think Mr. O'Leary also fails to understand how reliant we all are on AI now. Compared to 2 years ago, I never used AI with my job. Now I'm using it every day. I'm using it when I'm doing research. I'm also watching out for hallucinations with AI because I know AI isn't perfect. And I don't think I'm fucking hallucinating when I say we need an impact study or this data center should not be welcome in our state. Our elected officials have the responsibility to represent us. If they do not, they should be voted out of office on their next election. And if possible, impeached swiftly.